Okay, so we are going to take a leisurely stroll through the variety of resources available on Moodle. I say leisurely stroll because unlike some features, for example, activities that you can see, there's quite a lot of them and they're quite complicated, and in some cases, what appears to be one feature, one activity, in actual fact, I'm pointing out H5P as an example. In actual fact, when you start rooting around, you find out that it has a multitude of other options. So it could take you quite a while to get to grips with all the features offered by H5P, for example. Resources, on the other hand, there's less to deal with in terms of quantity and perhaps all things considered a bit more straightforward. So these are the resources that an instructor would include in their online course as for their learners, for their students. And I've added some resources to my course already, although I've not made use of all of these options. I'm just going to close that for a second. And we'll have a wee quick look at, let's see what resources I included. We can see what they look like externally. So obviously I'm just scrolling down, going past the actual activities, looking for resources. Okay, we could consider this one, I guess. I turned it into hypothetically an interactive activity, but it could have just been a video. This could have just been a video link to a YouTube video, very well made YouTube video, which gives Westerners a brief overview, clear, respectful, informative of the history of Islam. So that allows them to contextualize some historical facts with some phenomena they're encountering in their classrooms. You know, you need to know where things originate. So really nicely made video by by a video creator, YouTuber, beautifully done. And I want to include that hypothetically in my course. And that is just quite simply, it's just a hyperlink. So there's that. So obviously in a digital online course, it's pretty obvious that we are going to be including a lot of non-traditional resources. So we're not talking about printed books or photocopies. It's taken a while to upload. There it is, coming in, it's coming in. There we go. There's it's embedded in the page. Um, uh, Very nicely done, not terribly long, just under 13 minutes. That's a nice little resource for our students, which they can go back to again and again. We've also got something slightly more original, traditional, a reading text. We're doing studies here. You need to do some reading, and this is something that I found online. I'm just using it again as a bit of a place marker, but it is. It's in theory it would be excellent, really appropriate. An overview of Arab/Islamic culture. Um, and that could be downloaded or it could just be referred to directly online. So that's really nice. Otherwise, I'm going to have to confess, I have not actually included that many other resources so far, which does not mean that by the end of my course, when I actually bring it into being, create all the missing pieces, there will not be many other things. So let's just have a look at what I could potentially include. Really quickly, there's the book option, which would be for a long text-based item. Maybe like, I don't know, maybe a course docket or something like that. I'm going to call this course book. That's the name of my course. Main course text is what I'm writing in the description. I have, obviously, this is the editor, I have the option that I had in throughout my other sections of modifying the font, the text, the size, adding in images, adding in videos. I mean, I can go crazy here if I want. I'm not going to bother about that. I want to actually go, because at this point there's a pattern emerging. We're starting to see what you do with this editor, all the things you can do with this editor. We're going to have a quick look at setting up the book. So it would be chapter formatting. Do we want the chapters numbered? Nothing at all? Do we want bullets? Do we want it indented? I'll leave it with numbers. I'm not too fussy. Images, icons, images or images or text for what is TOC? I don't know what TOC is. I'm going to go with text navigation, and I'll worry about custom titles possibly another time, and that's not obligatory. Common module settings, show on course page. Obviously, the option would be to hide from students, I guess, if you do not want them accessing a book, a text, until they've completed other portions of their course. Again, you've got the restrict access option, so you really want to make sure that nobody gets into the book until they have, I don't know, achieved a certain grade or before a certain date. That just allows you to set up your course and block off areas to it, and know that your students, as they work their way through it, will automatically get to the blocked off areas if they satisfy the conditions that you've set. We do not like students marking the activity as completed on their own. We are, for the important things, basically for everything that isn't an information, support, help forum, we're going to go for show activity is complete when conditions are met. And because it's a book, the only requirement is to view the activity. Of course, we're teachers, we know that just saying please do read this text, do read this book, might not quite hack it. So it would be likely that you would have a follow-up exercise just to check that they had read the book. Tags and competencies I'm going to leave out just so. I'm going to hit save and display though. When I go to save and display, here we get to add in the chapters. So chapter title, blah, blah, blah. Okay, content. I'm just going to go pinch some lorem ipsum content and pop it in. Here, we'll just pretend that is what we've written. Okay, very nice. No tags, I'm not going to tag anything. And then I'm going to save changes. And there we have our first chapter. On the right hand side and the right hand panel, we see our chapter blah blah blah, chapter 1. We hit the addition sign and we get to add a new chapter, and the new chapter is going to be called something really intellectual, blue, blue, blue. And the content, again, we will paste some placeholding text and save changes again. And oops, I've got a third chapter that wasn't actually meant. I'm just going to chuck that out. That's when I was trying it out and I forgot to cancel it. But I'll just here's my course book. Lovely. And after blah blah blah, again hit the plus sign and blah blah blah. Oops, I didn't go in. Why didn't I go in? Blah blah blah. And holding text again. And save changes. So our book is now composed of 3 chapters. And so we can just go back to our course book just to see exactly how it appears. We can actually change role, switch role to student, so we get an idea of what it looks like to student. And of course, that was really basic. I could have gone crazy with images and diagrams and all sorts of things. So there you go. You've got the text, which can be navigated by these little navigation tags. There's the second chapter, and there is the third chapter of our very basic and not particularly interesting textbook. If, on the other hand, now if we just go, let's exit the book, and we've scrolled back down again, we're back in the role of instructor, course creator, as it were. I'm going to go back to adding resources. The book was the first one. On the other hand, to compare with that, we do have the page option. Now, the page option would be for a shorter quantity of text. So it's not split into chapters. Again, you've got the editor where you put a title for this page and description and other things you want to appear above it, and then you have another page content space which you can then impose your criteria such as activity completion, like all the other activities we've seen so far, but that is one possibility. Let's just go back again and see what else we've got. Add activity resource. The file and folder ones again also could be contemplated together. You can add a file, obviously, very simply from your computer as you want. Again, always the option of naming and describing and adding other elements which attract the student's attention or focus the student's attention or give the student more information on what is actually waiting for them. And here you can drag and drop or upload your file. If it was a group of files, obviously that is the point of the folder option. Where are we? It was in here. Resources. So here, the folder option would be obviously if you want to create a folder full of all sorts of activities, texts or images or whatever, you can upload the whole folder. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you have the option of zipping it. You also get the chance of displaying the folder content on separate pages or altogether on a course page. I guess it would depend on very much what quantity of material you had in there. There's a maximum size for new files. You would have to keep your eye on that. But again, this just makes it easier for your students to access and use their main course resources. What have we forgotten? What have we not looked at? This I do not know. I'm not going to get into this. I think this is a bit more complicated, above and beyond me. There are a couple of obvious ones, a URL, but I think nobody amongst us has got problems with adding a URL. What is there we are, URL variables. So you can get to use the different parameters. This is going into sort of techie territory that I just don't know. I would just stick to sticking my URL in here, giving it a name, giving it a description, and by this point, you know me, I would probably slap an image in there just so that it's visually more appealing. So that's a pretty easy one. And we're left with, what else? Got through most of them. Uploading a PDF. Okay, that's fairly straightforward. Very last word, just dedicate to this labeling. resource. I'm a bit perplexed by them calling it a resource. It's a handy little thing because it means that you can add in elements to your page, to your sections, giving a title, colouring the background, adding in images. So I tend to do that anyway by adding these elements into the general editor of each new element that I add. But if you want, there's this specific resource. I mean, for me, student resource means something that they can download, that they have to refer to, something keep in their own computers. The label, not sure I would have called it that, but they put it in that category. In the activities and resource collection, so it's there. It's there. Just mentioning it just in case you ever need to use it. However, let's just say return to course. However, I think the other ones, the other elements, the other offerings in resources are of much greater use to us. I don't think I've forgotten anything. I think we've looked at them all at this point. All except the IMS content package, which I'm not going to dare do. Out of my depth, out of my depth. We'll leave that for another day. So again, all the best and speak soon.